It's the Tim Rohde banana swinging dong of torque. But anyway, foot on the brake, I'm in GT mode, foot on the accelerator, and let's see if I can eat that. Hello and a warm welcome back to the channel of nonsense. I'm Tim, and this is an especially nonsensey sort of car. It's a Kia EV6 GT, and that GT bit means it costs £62,500, which is an awful lot of money for a car that's made by the same company that makes your nan's Picanto, but for good reason. This has 577 horsepower, and it will get from 0 to 62 miles an hour in 3.5 seconds. That would probably finish my nan off if she wasn't already sort of finished off. But yeah, it's an exceptionally fast car. I've already done a review of the EV6, the normal one, so click up whichever way it is to go and watch that. But yeah, let's take it for a spin, have a look around it and find out if it's worth the money and if it makes you feel sick. I'm sorry, banana. Now, in all of the cynical marketing tour I've read about this car, Kia is very keen to point out that it outperforms a Tesla Model Y performance. Now, the Kia is actually a bit more expensive than the Tesla, but it does also beat it in several other areas. It's got a 7-year warranty because it's a Kia. It's not driven by cultists because it's not a Tesla, and it feels nicer inside and out, to be frank. Now, the performance of this car comes from a 215 horsepower motor at the front, 362 at the rear for 577 horsepower and 3.5 seconds, as we've said, to 62. It is flipping fast, but I wouldn't say it's a sports car, despite having very grippy Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tyres on its 21-inch wheels and massive 380mm brakes up front like a Lamborghini. It is a 2.2-ton car. It's very heavy. Now, to help cope with that, it has got an all-new suspension setup, different to the regular EV6. It's electronically controlled and you can adjust it in the different driving modes to be softer or firmer. And just as a baseline, it is firmer at the back and softer at the front than the regular EV6. That didn't put me off at all, it's fine. So yeah, it is a heavy car, it's a big car, but it can tow 1.8 tons really quickly if you're mad enough. But anyway, it's a big car. Let's have a quick look at the practicality in the cabin and then we'll go and hoon it. And say RIP to my banana. The EV6 GT's 490 litre boot can comfortably fit one entire Tim Rohde. Sort of. And there's a little bit of underfloor storage too. Backseat space in the EV6 GT is pretty good and the seats recline. However, I don't have much room under the driver's seat for my feet, and headroom is fine, but getting in now, I hit my head on that. There are 2 USB-Cs here, however, for your passengers, and you've got a centre armrest which you can't see, but it's got 2 cup holders in it, in which you can stick your smashed banana. Great. Now, one thing I really like about the EV6 GT is it doesn't really shout about its performance on the outside, apart from those brake calipers, which are the same colour as my teeth. But you've got the same colour stitching on the steering wheel, piping on the seats, and the seats are different as well to the regular EV6. They're kind of huggier, they are sportier, but they are manually adjustable. So you've got to pump it up and down like a proper peasant and slide it backwards and forwards using an old school lever between your legs. That's what she said. But yeah, it's a bit disappointing they're not electric in this, and they're not cooled as well. They're only heated. Normally Kia gives you cooled seats in most of its cars. But otherwise, the dashboards are amazing. You've got these 2 big screens, same as in the regular EV6, and it shows you everything you want. You've got to plug in to get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but otherwise it's quite a nice experience. I am slightly going off this twin screen setup here. You've got this little bar of shortcut buttons, but if you press another button, it gives you fan controls and things like that. On the move, that's actually a bit of a pain in the ass to use. I do like it in here. It does feel special, and because this is a top spec one, you get all the toys as standard. You get a 14-speaker Meridian sound system, which sounds absolutely amazing. You get 360 cameras. You get the fact you can move it backwards and forwards from outside the car using the key, remote parking. You've basically got everything you could possibly want. It's just very easy to live with. You have got head-up display, but if you wear polarized sunglasses, it just disappears. Some brands have got around that, but not Kia. Oh yeah, wireless charger, loads of storage, space down here, USBs, 12 volts. I've got a USB-C, a USB-A, another USB-C and a 12 volt. I could basically charge my entire house from this car, and obviously it's got vehicle to load as well, so you get an adapter to plug into the charge socket with a 3-pin on the end of it, so you can plug in your microwave or whatever you want to do for YouTube clicks. But anyway, that is way too much information about this car. Let's hit the road and see if it feels special from behind the wheel. Should have done a Korean accent, but I don't quite feel comfortable doing that yet, ever. Right, we're going to go for a drive in the Kia EV6 GT. Now, 577 horsepower in an electric car. I always think it's hard to show how quick these cars are in the real world. So I've got some advanced testing equipment here. It's the Tim Rohde banana swinging dong of torque. But anyway, I'm going to launch the car at 60 miles an hour and compare the swing of my Banana to, say, my Kodiaq Estate, which is a 2-litre diesel, another family car. But anyway, foot on the brake, I'm in GT mode, foot on the accelerator, and let's see if I can eat that. Oh! It's quite fast. I hadn't tested that. I didn't think that would happen. I would say that's probably a 10 out of 10 on the Tim Roddy Banana swinging dong of success. Right, just for a bit of context, and because I'm doing proper science here, I'm going to repeat the same test in my 2-litre diesel Skoda Kodiaq. I've got 150 horsepower. This is a normal family SUV, not that bonkers Kia thing. But anyway, still got launch control. Let's go. Yeah, I think my methodology might be flawed. There was less swing though. There was a lot less swing. It's just my Banana attachment needs a little bit of work. Yeah, anyway, on with the Kia review. Right, we've ascertained this car is banana damagingly fast, but one thing it isn't is that comfortable. It's not as comfortable over bumps as a regular EV6. And when you put it in GT mode for full aggression, it gets borderline unbearable on properly bumpy roads. And I've been on some roads around where I live here in Surrey, where it feels like this car's just trying to kick itself off the road, and when you accelerate, the seatbelt locks. So getting out of junctions is a bit of a pain when you've been driving quickly, but you know, whatever. But yeah, it does kind of wobble along, bobble along, even in the stiff suspension mode, or especially in the stiff suspension mode. But yeah, bloody hell, it is quick. In GT mode, it slackens off the stability control a bit, so it feels a little bit more rear driven and a little bit more skiddy out of junctions. But it's such a big, heavy car, you never feel like you want to really hoon it around corners particularly fast. It's got grip, it can do it, but there's something at the back of your mind saying, this weighs an awful lot and has a lot of power instantly available. So yeah, you don't really engage with it as the same way as a proper sports car. The steering's got no feel. The brakes, they're standard EV brakes, frankly. They feel fine, and there's no real switch between using regeneration and using those massive brake discs. It's been set up by people who know what they're doing, like Albert Bierman, who used to work at Hyundai and Kia, who used to do all the BMW M cars. But it doesn't feel like a BMW M car. It feels like a bit of an out-of-control hot rod when you're really hooning it. Yes, and then it thinks I'm going to crash into that car. Yes, I probably was, to be honest. Now, as well as the hardcore GT mode, if you press that button again, you get to My Drive mode. And you have to go through about 25,000 menus to get to it. But once you're there, you can customize the suspension to feel how you want it to, the steering, the diff, and all sorts of other things. So I've got it in full aggression mode, but with softer suspension, because I'm at that stage of my life now where I want comfort as much as I want speed. This is my Lexus LS 400 era. I'm a big wafty barge, but that's quite quick. Oh yes, your passengers will hate how fast this is. Like all fast EVs, there's no warning of the speed coming, of the acceleration. I've taken people out in this, and even if you're doing 40, you can just boot it and it pins you into the seat. You feel your kidneys move around, and then you get divorced. So don't do it. It's just annoying. Just drive it sensibly, and at which point you might as well have just bought the normal one and saved yourself £15,000 and a divorce. As usual with Kia, Hyundai Group EVs, you can use the paddles to increase the amount of regeneration you get from the brake. So you can put it in a one-pedal driving mode really quite easily. Oh, that's my tripod thunky into the side of the boot. That's fast. It is really fast. Now, in terms of efficiency, I've been getting about 3.2 miles per kilowatt hour, which is okay, but bear in mind I have been booting it a lot. And once you live with these things, you don't really use the acceleration all that much, so I imagine this will do more like 3.7, 3.8 miles per kilowatt hour, which is quite efficient, and considering the performance on offer, is blooming outstanding. Right, I'm going to do my usual thing of going from a 50 limit to a 70 limit, and let's see how the big Kia handles. Bit of understeer, bit of oversteer. Wasn't expecting the oversteer. 70 miles an hour, really, really quickly. And now I'm at 70 miles an hour. It's actually reasonably refined. The biggest noise in here is wind noise off the slightly oddly shaped door mirrors, but tyre noise is really impressive. Considering they're massive 21-inch wheels on sticky rubber, I don't know what Kia's done. Maybe they filled them with foam or unicorn dreams, I don't really know. But yeah, it's a comfortable car to drive at a cruise. The view out all round is okay, with the caveat, as usual, that the view over your shoulder at the back corners of the car is quite compromised by thick pillars. Anyway, that's boring to talk about. Let's head back to me for a conclusion. Now, to sum up, the Kia EV6 GT is a lot like Kia's previous performance product, the Stinger GT. It's a niche choice, but one that gives you performance for an accessible price tag. And I know 62 grand's a lot of money, but to get the same power from a Porsche Taycan, you're going to spend double. However, the Porsche can go around corners and the chassis can manage that power in a way this can't quite do. This feels like Kia's hot rod. It's slightly unruly and I kind of like it. And most people are going to be better off picking a regular EV6. It's got a bit more range, it's got more comfort, and it's fast enough, frankly. This is kind of a niche car for the people that want to be a little bit different, and you have to applaud Kia for giving you a 7-year warranty on something so ridiculously out there. But anyway, niche car, probably not going to see many around, but I really like it. So yeah, thank you for watching. Hit like if you've enjoyed this. Subscribe to the channel because I've got plenty more car reviews coming soon. And go down to the comments and leave me the Korean word that says, "Your teeth are the same as your brakes." Goodbye.